All right, so I'm gonna design. Hold on, let me get my phone. All right, so I'm designing a text-based design in Adobe Illustrator, and I'm gonna use some free fonts from Google Fonts. So what I want to do is just search here, and my font properties I want for my main text. I want kind of a thicker font, and I don't know if I want to go with something just a regular sans serif font or something um, with serifs or slab serifs or whatever. So I'm just gonna type out what my main text is gonna be here, and just kind of see what looks good. And then I'll go from there. I already have an idea for a layout in mind. But the cool thing about this Google Fonts thing is that the cool thing about the Google Fonts is that all of these are free, and they've gotten actually really good the selection of typefaces. Some are better than others, and some are actually really nice. Let's see if there's anything I like. Okay, we'll go a little bit less thick and see. All right, let's go to the full. See if there's anything good there. All right, so we'll go down a couple of levels here on the thickness. This Arvo typeface is pretty nice. Yeah, I don't know if I want to use that one. It might not be too bad. I don't know if there's a good script typeface here. And that's the thing with these free typefaces is you never know what you're gonna get. But they're definitely worth looking at. I've done a lot of designs with these free ones. Let me see one thing. See if I could find a script. And here you have to go handwriting to find a script typeface. None of these are quite what I'm looking for, so we'll go back to just the full-on typefaces. See if anything stands out to me. I want this first word to be all caps. And what I'm looking for when I'm selecting a typeface is I'm looking for legibility. So I want this to be very easily read. And then the next thing I want to do is just see if I like the shape of some of these letters and things like that. And then from there, then we can just start designing. But I don't know. So far, nothing's quite jumping out to me. But we will see what we could find. We'll get our layout done. This Olio script doesn't seem too bad, but I don't know. Let's keep looking, and hopefully we'll find something that we like in these typefaces. This one is pretty cool, but it's a little narrow, and I was hoping to find something a bit wider. This might be good for my secondary letters, but I don't know. Let's download this family and then see what happens. So I'm gonna just open the zip file, double click on that. And this is called Bayon, so we're gonna install that. And let's jump into Adobe Illustrator. And we'll start doing our layout. I'm going to do a circular design here. And what I want to do is just, we'll make this first circle and we'll center it on our artboard. this a little bit smaller. We can copy this and then paste it on top of itself, and then just make it a little smaller like that. Then we're going to add one more ring here on the outside. I'm going to have that not have a fill. We'll move that to the back, I guess. Make this a little bit bigger. And we'll start adding strokes to these. So let's go in with our appearance panel. And this has a white fill. And I always like to move my stroke behind the fill. That way this circle is going to stay the same size on the inside. And the stroke's just going to occupy a little bit more of the area between those. So we're going to do the same thing here. We made this one 15 points, so we'll make this one 15 points. And since this one is, we lost a little space there, I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. And let's try making that like 8 points. I can make that even smaller. Let's make it... Actually, no, we're going to make it 8 because then we're going to put that white fill in front of this one now. Actually, I want these to both be bolder, so let's just keep bumping this up and see what we got. So we're going to make this one... see, 28 looks pretty good. Or 27 was that? 27 looks pretty good for that one. And we're going to make this one 27 points also. Yo, what's up, Cartel Print? And then I could make another one of these with that 8-point stroke on the inside too. But I don't know, that might be too much, and even this one on the outside might be too much. But for now, it's fine. We're going to use this typeface that we grabbed from, hold on, this is 27. We're going to use this typeface that we grabbed from Google Fonts, and what did we say it was called? Bayon. So, okay, so... go to our characters. Right here. Where's my character? My character thing moves, so we'll just go type, character. It's over here now. Now I'm just going to move this back over here with the rest of my palettes, and I like to keep these organized by what type of palette it is. So this character is going to go with the paragraph and the open type, and we're going to select the font that we just installed, which is called Bayon. We'll see how this looks. That looks a little plain to me, but yeah, let's go back to Google Fonts and let's see if we can find something that's a little maybe we will try something with the slab serif. I don't know. Let's up the thickness on this again and just see if anything looks good. Alpha Slab 1 looks pretty good, and I actually on Ultra I have these both on there. Let's try this Black Ops. That might be kind of cool too. So we're gonna go ahead and click on this typeface or this font, and then we're gonna download the family again. And then once we get here, we're just going to open that zip file and double click the TrueType file here and install it. And we'll go back into Illustrator. We'll change this to Black Ops and see if that looks any good. That's okay. It's not too bad. I want to make these a little bit wider here. Make this bigger. Then what I like to do a lot of times here is I'll put the type on an angle here. But when I put it on an angle, The other thing that I'm going to need to do here is take the shear tool. Okay, we're going to take the shear tool, and then we're just going to shear this type. What that's going to do is it's just going to like give it a little bit of a slant. But the thing about that is you don't want it to look like you just slanted the type. So the shear is going to kind of italicize it a little bit, but it's also going to give it the appearance that it's supposed to be slanted like that. Okay, so we're going to go here. We're going to go to the appearance, and I'm just trying to find a good balance here on the size of things. This one's 20, so we'll bump this one down to 20. So now this one can actually come in a little bit again. And we can bump up the size of that stroke too. Okay, so before I really commit to too much here, I'm just going to draw a box around this thing. We'll make that white. Move that back there. We're actually going to make everything smaller here. Move this down a little bit. Then maybe I will copy this one again. Paste that in. Bring that in here. Just move that back behind there. Okay, so now I want to put my type on this path. So what I'm going to do here is copy this. Then I'm going to select all of this and lock it. We're going to paste this in place. And when you paste something in place, it just puts it exactly where you got it from the artboard the first time. So if I just do a regular paste, it's going to center it, I think, to my screen. But if I do Control Shift and V for paste in place, it's going to go exactly right where I copied the original from. Now I can make that smaller. We'll make this with no fill in and no stroke because we're going to use this for our type. Then I'm just going to kind of roughly center this in between those. Then the next thing I want to do, since this type is already where I want it to be, I can go ahead and add an anchor point here, add an anchor point here, add one here, and then add one here. And then I'm going to use the cut tool. I'm going to cut that anchor point, cut that anchor point, cut that anchor point, and that. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Actually, that should have worked. Hold on. So we're going to do here. Actually, yeah, that's right. So once I cut those anchor points out, I could get rid of the little connective parts, and now I have two different paths. This top one, so I can put some type there, and this bottom one, I could put some type there. And the next thing I want to do is we're going to go back to Google Fonts. We're going to find ourselves another font here. And this one, I want to be a thinner font. Then what would go good with that? Just something kind of plain, I think. I'm thinking maybe something a little bit wide. And we're going to go all caps on this. Or what's this question? What did you want to know about sublimation? All right, so yeah, I want something kind of wide. So let's go thickness, width. Let's see what we have that's that thick and a little wider. And again, this Google Fonts has really come a long way. Before, the typefaces that they had on here were mostly just kind of okay, and they've gotten some really good ones recently. And if you want, if you want something a little more premium, then you're definitely going to have to pay to find that. But, for most things, as long as your design is good, these are really solid. Let me see. This has no serif. So let's try something with serifs. Let's try this Qdiv. Is that what it's called? Qdiv or Cudiv? I don't know. So we're going to download that, install it. Double click on there. Hey, what's going on, Jason? I'm going to install this. Let's see, the image posted earlier. The one that is it the one I have for free? Which image is it? Okay. So let's go back here. We're going to do our type on a path tool. Then we're going to set our paragraph to center. And then what we're going to need to do here is pull these handles over to the side. Yeah, it's an SVG file, so you can use that for dye sublimation. So we'll make this bigger. When you're doing type on a path, one thing you need to do here is go to type on a path, type on a path options, and then I'm going to align my path to the center. And that'll just bring it down a little bit. Okay, the other thing when you're doing type on a curve is, and I do not like the way that looks. Okay, this didn't look as good as I thought it would, but let's keep looking. The other thing you really need to worry about when you're doing type on a path is the kerning gets really wonky. And if your kerning is bad, then your design's going to be bad. It doesn't really matter how good your layout is. Let's try Arvo. I might have that one installed. Let's see if we do. Nope, we don't. So let's try Arvo. And, these are free, so it doesn't hurt to try different ones. And when you go and download the family, this gives you all these different versions. And this Arvo Bold 700 actually looks really cool to me, so let's try that. We're just going to install all of these. Then I think if I would have actually extracted the zip file, I could have just installed these all in one shot, but I don't really feel like extracting them since I'm just going to install them anyways, and there's only 4 different versions. All right, so let's go back here. And let's go to Arvo. We'll go bold. I think that actually looks pretty cool. We're going to open up the leading here a little bit. The tracking, sorry. The tracking is the space between every character as a whole. kerning is the space between individual letters, and leading would actually be the space between lines. So single line, there's no leading, but there's definitely tracking. Then here, the same thing. We're gonna set this paragraph to centered, and then this came out upside down. So after we drag these handles to the edges of our path, we're just gonna grab this little handle here in the middle, boop, pop it up, and go back again to type on path. Set our options here. We're gonna move that to center and hit OK. And so that's gonna center that. We're gonna go all caps on this one. And this is just a quick, example for you guys to see how I design. And let me see. Next thing we're gonna do here, we'll add a little something to that. So let's unlock everything. Make a copy of that. Move it down, and we'll move this original back up. And the first thing I want to try to do here is we'll go to the appearance. We're going to keep this fill in as black, and then behind it we're going to put a white outline. And normally the way I design is I use a lot of kind of like fake extrusion things. But this time I just want to add a little bit of a shadow. And I think for now I'm just going to keep this whole thing black and white. But let's see. Okay. The one thing I don't like is sometimes this type wants to be like the bounding box for the type is huge, so then it makes it hard to select other things. Audio's cutting out. Let's make this, pull this out a little bit, and we'll move this out. Move that back up. Okay. The main trick here is trying to make this look like there's not quite an outline, but just a gap. And I think we can make that stroke a little smaller. That might help. Okay. Oh, I know what's going on here. All right. Let's try this for now. I'm just going to make a copy of this and push this over here. I'm going to select both of these. Let's see. And we're going to change the type. We're just going to convert the type to a path. That's Control-Shift-O. Then we're going to expand appearance, expand. And then we're going to go Pathfinder and divide. Okay, and now, oh no. I think this text is a little too small. See, we can try one thing is shrinking this whole thing. That's kind of small too. Actually, let's make this text a little bigger. We might need to use a different typeface here, something that's going to occupy more space. But we'll have to see. Okay, so are these grouped? Okay. So we're just going to select everything and let's see if we could center this. Yeah, that didn't work. Okay, we're going to group these. I'm going to select everything in center. Get rid of that. We can get rid of that. Come back over here. Now we're going to ungroup everything. Now we might want to move this down a little bit. Yep, I'm live on YouTube right now. I want this space to be a bit smaller here. So I'm just going to move this up. Yeah, I think this typeface could probably be something narrower and taller. So we'll check on Google Fonts one more time. Let's go with something. Let's go back to the main page. We're going to keep the width. We're going to make the width a little narrower this time. And keep the thickness up. This only one that kind of fits that bill is this Tico. Well, let's see what that looks like. I think I have that one installed already. What's up, man? What's up, OG? Triple OG. Alright, what do you say this typeface? So we're going to go to character here. Change that. I really kind of like this Black Ops typeface though, so I might not change it. We'll see. We'll see how this fits compared to that. So what I'll do here is I'll make a new artboard. Then I'll just move this whole design. I'll duplicate it over to this second artboard. Boom. Get rid of this stuff. And this is definitely a way that I like to design, is just kind of move things around, see how it feels. So we're going to shear this again. And usually what I'm looking for when I'm shearing things, when I have this type on an angle, I don't want to go too extreme, but I want to keep this stroke looking more like a vertical stroke. So when I shear this, and this vertical stroke aligns with my guide here pretty well. Let's clear this guide. So when my vertical stroke aligns with that guide, then it feels to me like this is how this typeface is supposed to look, and it doesn't look like I just took a piece of type and slanted it. Okay, so we're going to line this up again. We'll add a little bit of a drop shadow thing again. Let's see what this looks like with the same treatment here. So we're going to go to our appearance. We're going to fill this in with black. And then we're going to put a white stroke behind it. So now we have two different options. I don't really like the way the second one looks, but we'll try one more thing. And this is kind of the thing that I usually do a whole lot when I'm designing. So we're going to fill this in with white. We're going to give this a wide black stroke. A fatter stroke. Okay, we're going to make a copy here. We're going to fill this in with black. So we're going to move this behind our original. And then this time we're going to take the the blend tool. So we're going to go object, blend, and we're going to set our blend options to specified steps. We're going to make this 50 steps. And now we're going to make our blend. So down here it's object, blend, make, or Alt Control B, Option Command B if you're on Mac. And then that gives us our little standard extruded look here. And this is okay. The original, this second one is a little bit more of how I usually design. So let's see, let's go back to Google Fonts again and just see what they have in something wide again. So we're not going to worry about the thickness, but we're going to worry about the width. None of these look good, so let's bump that down by 1. So Railway's not too bad. Actually, I think we're pretty good so far of these free ones. With the one that we already used, we could try one more option here. And let's see what this looks like with that Black Ops typeface. So let's make one more artboard. I'm just streaming the screen here on YouTube, Jason. That's it. All right, so let's make a copy here. And then what we're going to do here is let's see what this looks like with that Black Ops typeface. Okay. So we have 3 options here. I don't like this original one, so it's between these 2. And again, this is just using free typefaces from Google. So there's definitely a lot more we could do with this. But looking at it, I kind of like this one here, and something happened, so what the heck is going on? That's that. This is off somehow. So which is fine. We're just gonna, let's see. We're gonna make this smaller. You don't like the size of that stroke, so we're gonna go to our appearance again. We're gonna make this stroke a little bit smaller. Go here. We're gonna make this stroke a little bit smaller. What do we make this? 14. 14. 13, 14. Okay, so we can bring this in too. A little bit. Here. Make this a little bigger. Actually, make that a little smaller. I think it's kind of too big. Okay, that's got to move down too. This is unbalanced as it is. What I could do is we can select all these again. Exclude these from the group. We're going to group everything. Then we can select and center everything here just to make sure we're centered. We're going to ungroup that. So let's move this to the back. Move that here. Make a copy of this. Move that in. So let's see what this looks like here. Let's go to our appearance. And with these type of things, I just like to make sure that my strokes are all matching up and that they're the right size. So now we can go with the double outline, which isn't too bad. And then the next thing I would do here is if I'm cutting this out with my vinyl cutter, I'm going to make a copy here, and this is how I prepare this for the vinyl cutter. I'm going to go ahead and make a copy, or I'm going to expand the appearance of everything. Expand. Okay. And the first thing I'm going to do is take this type, and then it needs a little bit more, you'll see, so we're going to expand that one more time. Then we're going to go to our Pathfinder and merge. And this might take a little bit because there's a whole lot of paths right there. And this is where it kind of helps to have a little bit of a nice GPU and processor in your PC, because this is doing a whole lot of math to make this happen. Okay, so once I have this, when I zoom in, you'll see we have this whole like sawtooth kind of thing going on here. And I could clean that up too manually, which isn't too hard. And just delete those points that I don't want. And then reconnect these. And now instead of all those little jaggy points, we have a nice clean anchor point here. Then there's some stuff going on here with these two, which we're not going to get into any of that right now. But we definitely want to make sure these points are connected for when we cut. And again, we can just go through and clean all of these up, but we're not going to worry about that right now. One more thing that I might want to do is go in here and select this black, and then go to my appearance and add a white stroke beneath that. And we'll see how that looks. And that's just going to give us a little bit of a separation between the black on our text and the black of these lines in the background. And again, that's kind of a, just depends on how you want to play it type of thing. And then from here, we might want to play with this a little bit more and see what this looks like if this was black. and this text is white. And there's so many just different options that you can do with your design. And it all just kind of depends on your sensibilities, you know, and I could go back and fix this or change things. Nothing here is set in stone. So if I like the way that looks, I could keep that, or I can just go with how I had it. I'd like there being some sort of separation between the black of that, but it doesn't necessarily even need it. So let's just keep it the way we had it when we designed it. And we have everything the way we want it for the vinyl cutter, and everything's expanded. So we're just going to go ahead and use the Pathfinder tool here and merge everything. And let's open this in a new file. So this is what we look like for our cutter. We want to get rid of this middle part. Actually, I want to get rid of all of these parts, except for the white in this text, maybe. We'll have to see. And again, most of this is just kind of playing around and seeing what you want to do. We can get rid of this too, I guess. So let's just select the same fill color. Select same fill color. Get rid of all those little extra bits. And here we have a file that's ready to be cut in vinyl. One more thing that I like to do here is after I do my Pathfinder is, let me see. Okay, so here's another weird thing is these aren't connected, which means they might be a slightly different color. So let's go object, or let's go select same fill color. And those are all the same, which is weird. So they should have merged, and I don't know why they didn't. There's seems to be a little something going on. Oh, do I still have a stroke on there? Okay, I have a stroke here, which I don't want. So now I can select everything and merge it, and that should be fine. Pathfinder merge. All right, let's do this. Looks like we have some different colored things going on. So let's make a box here. And then we're going to just make this have no fill and no stroke color. Then what I'm going to do here is just go to select same fill color. And if I have anything that's an invisible stroke, then I can just select it and delete it. And now let's see if we can get these things to merge. And they still don't want to merge, so I did something wrong along the way, and I might need to just redo all this stuff. So let's try one more time. There it goes. So I just expanded the appearance and expanded, and now this is all one piece. But let's check one more time to make sure that there isn't any of these invisible paths here with no fill color. So we're just going to go ahead and select the same fill color as our nothing box here and delete all that. So now we have something that we can cut with our vinyl cutter. And you'll notice, we'll change this just to path view, is all of these paths are clean, nothing overlaps, you're not going to be cutting through any other shapes. And the only thing that we kind of need to think about here is if you want to fix any of these jaggedy kind of things here, or clean up any anchor points. And that's kind of one of the things about these free typefaces is they're not exactly as well put together as something commercial. There's always little kind of things here and there that you have to deal with, but they're free. And you know that since you're getting them from Google, you're not going to have to worry about, getting any sort of problems with viruses or things like that. But yeah, sometimes there's some little wonky things here and there about them. Like this E has these little weird corners on it. So I have to go through and delete all of those. But let's see, we have this. Let's make this canvas. We'll just throw like a black background on it. We'll expand that. We'll lock that. We'll duplicate our original design here. We'll bring this to the front. And let's fill this in with white. And this is what our design looks like in white. Or another thing we could do is keep it the original. Make a copy of it, paste it, move that back by one layer. We're going to fill this with white, and then we're going to go to our appearance. We're going to add a white stroke to everything. We could even design it this way. We could fill all this in with white. We could fill in some of this background stuff with white. There's just a lot of different things you could do with this type of design. And the main thing that I would need to do here is same thing, is expand appearance, expand, okay. We might need to expand that one more time. And then we're just going to do a pathfinder on everything. And again, one of the reasons why I make this box or make this object that has no fill and no stroke color and then select the same appearance is, hold on, select, or not appearance, select same fill and stroke, is if I have, let's say I'm cutting on where this white stuff is, if I'm cutting on those lines and I also have the exact identical path with no fill in on top of that, when I send it to my cutter, it's going to cut 2 times, and it's going to cut basically through both my heat transfer vinyl and the carrier sheet, and I definitely don't want that. So anyways, this is just a simple one color text design, and I could probably rework this a whole lot to get it exactly how I want it. I can add color to it. I might want to do something in this style here. And I could even add more color here in this part. I could get rid of those paths and have this just be white instead of an outline. And again, on this type of design, yeah, I would definitely get rid of this too. So let's see if we can get rid of this white. No. Okay, I wasn't really paying enough attention there. So what I would do if I could redo this is I would keep this as an outline. I mean, without the outline in white. And I accidentally merged this to that piece, I think. Let's see if we can ungroup that. I don't think so because these are all touching, which sucks. Oh, actually, let's see. So there you go. And I could get rid of this too. And like I was saying earlier, basically whenever you're designing, it's just most of it's just kind of exploring and trying different things. And I try to go in with an idea of exactly what I want to do. Sometimes it looks exactly how I want when I'm done. Sometimes I need to make some adjustments. You just never really know what your final product is going to be. So we can make that any bigger. See if we appearance and yeah, so I mean when you're doing this stuff there's just a lot of like trying different things. It's just kind of a matter of learning all the different tools that you have at your disposal. And then sometimes you can also get to this point that I'm at and decide like you like elements of what's there and elements of what you had before, and then you could kind of go back and redesign based on that, which is what I probably might want to eventually do with this if I decide to do anything at all with it. All right, so let's go here again and make sure we don't have any invisible paths. So we can go select same fill color. Oh, there's nothing there. So if I like this, again, same thing as before. Object, expand appearance, object, expand. Okay. And then go to my Pathfinder. Boom. And then again, we'll make sure there's no invisible strokes, which there is. And so that's ready for the cutter. We can get rid of any of the black on there. We could merge anything in the white too. And again, I can usually tell if I have the clear, non-colored strokes here because my palette will show me a question mark when I have everything selected. So let's find out. And the main thing is when I have this ready to go for the cutter, I just want to make sure everything is as clean as possible so I don't waste any vinyl. Wasting vinyl means you're wasting money. And, you know, we should be doing our best to not waste money. At least that's what I feel like when I'm working on this stuff. So that was it. This was kind of a shorter stream, I think, than the last couple. I think I spent 3 hours designing those socks the other day. And this was a simple design. We went to Google Fonts and downloaded a couple of free typefaces. And then we went to Adobe Illustrator. We made a simple text-based design. We got it ready for the vinyl cutter. And now I could just keep this as an Illustrator, save it as an EPS. I can save it as a SVG file. I could import this into Photoshop and add gradations and color and all kinds of stuff. But if I'm starting with Illustrator and I'm making a vector file and making sure everything's clean and tight in there, I can take this to any other program. I can make it any size that I want. We're never going to lose quality on a vector file. And yeah, so that's pretty much it as far as this stuff goes. I'll try to do some kind of stream again tomorrow designing. If anyone has any questions, I'll stick around for a second. But if not, then I'll get on with my day. Yo, thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. Yo, what's up? What's that? LBC sublimation? What's going on? Oh man, I'm glad you like them. Well, hey, I'm gonna get going. Like I said, I'll think of something to stream tomorrow. So see you later, YouTube. Yo, do any of you have any questions or anything? Any comments? Anything you want to know? Uh, just working on some new designs. I was just doing a live stream on YouTube showing how I do a lot of designing with free fonts from Google Fonts. So yeah, I'm just been trying to work on like new sublimation designs, new stuff for the vinyl cutter, new downloadables for people, and also try to go live and do some stuff like that. Let's expand that. I design okay, so anything text based, I'm designing in Adobe Illustrator 100%, no compromise on that. And then I'll bring it into Photoshop if I'm going to make a sublimation design. And so like something, well actually I did this whole thing in Illustrator. Um for